Dom, right here in front. Congratulations on a victory. What are your initial thoughts after a performance like that against Pedro Munhoz?
It just feels good to be back on a win streak, I guess. I had a couple fights that didn't go as well. My body just wasn't feeling in rhythm, and it feels good to be back in rhythm.
That first round, you got dropped twice. Was that just you were out of place, or was it this Pedro Munhoz? Did Pedro Munhoz do something that kind of threw you off in that first round?
From what I'm hearing from my corner, I hit my head on the ground after or something. I don't know. I haven't seen the fight, so if I'm being honest, I thought I just took him down. So last I know is he's on his back and I'm on top. So I guess the rest of it, I conveniently don't remember.
In that second and third round, you kind of picked it back up. You're kind of hitting with a lot of jabs. He was connecting with pretty much air in there. So after that first round, did rounds 2 and 3 go pretty much how you had plans for that whole fight to go?
Yeah, I wanted the whole fight to be like rounds 2 and 3. Obviously, I generally have it that way, but I think he also knew that his power and everything that he has is the most dangerous in the first round. So I think his team played a good game plan, is what I'm guessing. He came hard in the first, and he had good timing and good speed in the first, so I had to adjust a little to it. But once I got that timing and that speed, I adjusted well.
And I know you said you don't remember or you haven't seen it, but was there a moment where you had to kind of shake off the cobwebs after and kind of get your bearings back after being dropped twice?
Like I said, man, I just had him on his back.
And then I know you like to fight up. You want to fight in the rings, but Marlon Vera's already tweeted he wants to fight you. Pierre Yan says he wants to see you fight Jose Aldo. Are there any specific names above you? I know you don't really like fighting down, but are there any names above you that you would like to match up with next?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say no to an Aldo fight just because, that moves me closer to the title. Aldo's a legend in the sport. I have nothing but respect for all these guys. So I'm trying to go, I'm going up towards the title, and the champ's saying that too, and I'm not going to say no to anything. What I'm going to do is be present instead of in the future where there's absolutely no peace, and I would encourage everybody here to do the same. You have no control over the future. You have no control over the past, so I'm just going to stay right here on my win. One of the things that I remember from being a champion is after you win the belt and you come up with your title, media and everybody's telling you everybody that's going to beat you next or everybody that's next, and it's like we never, as athletes, get to enjoy the present moment, and media doesn't allow it because everybody wants to move to the future. So I'm going to stop you right there and say I'm enjoying tonight. I'm going to have some shots of tequila with my people and my family who suffered with me, and I won this for them. And fuck the future right now.
Did you happen to see Sean O'Malley's performance?
I saw a piece of it. I was trying to shower up. He's somebody that we need in the sport. He's bringing eyes. He's, Shelby, Dana said it himself, like, they're doing what they can with him to build him. I have respect for him for what he brings to the table, for the fan base he brings to the table. So kudos to him. He faced somebody that he knocked out. He's knocked out his last couple opponents. He follows through with what he's supposed to do.
Dominick right here. Dominick, I've kind of replayed Wednesday quite a few times. When I asked you that question, my big one, did you actually mute Daniel Cormier's commentary, or were you just taking a jab at him and it got blown out of proportion in the last 72 hours?
So I didn't eat or drink when you guys asked me questions for like 3 days. We're all dieting, so we all do the best we can, except for Cormier. He never diets. But the truth is, like, I love Daniel Cormier. He is my brother. I work with him. I work alongside him. We are a team. He says I'm dry. I say I add a lot of seasoning, but I need him in order to be successful in that job. You can't just have a one-person booth. I need him. I need Joe Rogan. I need Michael Bisping. I need Felder. I need all of them. So if you make a headline, make sure you say Dominick Cruz needs the whole team.
Fair enough. I want to ask just a bit of symmetry. People talked about, a couple years ago, your fight with Cody. Recently this year, we see Joseph Benavidez retire. I'm sure you've seen the result. It did not go Cody's way tonight. and yet Dominick Cruz is still here, still going, still fighting top opponents. I mean, what's the secret? I mean, so some fighters, as you know, those injuries, they don't really come back and get to enjoy this kind of success.
That's a great question. I think if I'm gonna none of us know what's gonna happen before these fights. None of us. Well, you can say whatever you want, but none of us know. So you just put in the work. I put in the rounds. I put in the work, and I showed up, and I'm able to execute. It hasn't always gone my way. I've got 3 losses, so I learn a lot from my losses, and I make adjustments. I think even my media, I'm speaking differently. I have a different view on this whole thing, this whole game after winning the title, losing the title, winning the title, losing the title. And then now they got me, down number 9 and just working my way back up the rankings. Like it's a humbling experience. Let go of the ego, be a team with everybody. I need the whole division to be who I am. I look at and now as an analyst as well, I look at everybody as like teammates. It's different. I used to just see it as I'm going to kill every one of you. And now I see it as I need all of you to do anything. It's just a different frame of mind for me. And I think I've had to rebuild that through the injuries, rebuild my mindset through the injuries that I've had, and rebuild my mindset through the losses that I've had, and learn along the way. But I don't know why other people haven't been successful. I haven't been part of their camps, but I know that Cody is a champion, obviously, in his heart and mind. I think he'll get back on track. He's still very young. Cutting down to 25 is, I don't even know how that's possible for him, but he made it work, and he said it was easy. So I think he'll be fine. Just give the guy some time and let him find his bearings with his team or whatever he needs to find. I got nothing but faith in the guy. And as for Joseph Benavidez, he's a legend too. I love that guy. Like I said, I wouldn't be where I'm at without him. I had 8-round wars with that guy, and I have a cut on the bridge of my nose from him that I'll never forget. Things like that, they become a piece of your life forever.
If I'm late to the party with this, I apologize, but is there a particular reason why you like standing up during these things as opposed to everyone who likes to sit down?
I couldn't tell you why everybody sits down, but they should stand up because we're all standing up. We're all on our feet at the end of this thing. It's about self-respect and representation for me, and my foot hurts, and it's almost like, who cares? It's a me thing for my own mind, for my own spirit, whatever. I don't know. It's just me. The chair bothers me. It's like going out on crutches or going out in a wheelchair, even though your foot's broken or something hurts. I don't know. If I don't have to, I won't.
Congrats, Dom.
Thanks.
Dom, right here. Congrats, man. So this year, now that it's over for you, 2 fights in this year, 2 wins. It's the first time in 5 years that you've been able to get multiple fights in a year. And I wonder for you, what's that experience been like? Has it been helpful for you? I mean, you look back on it. Are you happy to be able to now rack these up?
I'm super happy to fight twice in a year. Are you kidding me? I think the reason why I'm ranked where I'm ranked is because I haven't been as active. Pedro Munhoz is ranked above me because he's been more active than me. And, watching Dustin Poirier fight his 3rd title fight in a calendar year the guy's a monster. That's epic. There's a handful of MMA mixed martial arts champions who have fought 3 title fights in 1 calendar year. I have been one of them, but there's not a lot of us. Usman's another. There's more. But anybody who does that, I'm going to tell you right now, savages, because your body takes a beating in these camps, and they're all 5-round fights. So to be able to come in here and do two fights in a year, and then don't forget I'm working too. I'm working a full-time job while I compete at the highest level, and I'm also working a full-time job at the highest level. You know how hard it is to talk for 8 hours next to Daniel Cormier and Bisping and not say something stupid? It's hard. So you got to be sharp. You got to be present. There's a lot I'm trying to do here for the sport. I love this sport. I love the athletes in this sport. I want to represent them the best I can. I do it for them. I do it for my people. And I just feel grateful and blessed to be in the position to be able to have all this. I mean, I had a friend of mine that say, man, it's so cool. You get to do martial arts for a living. That's it. My friend Jimmy Harbison. And I'm like, you're right. That's pretty, wow. I'm running around shadow boxing in the parking lot, stretching on an electric box, getting ready for a fight. And that's my job. What a trip.
And only other thing from me, if I'm not mistaken, this is now year 17 for you for this career.
Can you hold it a little closer? I can't hear you.
I got you. If I'm not mistaken, this is now year 17 for you in your career. 17 times you've walked to the cage in a non-title fight, and you've won all 17 of them. I just wonder for you, what is that record, 17-0 non-title fights? What does that mean to you?
I mean, I haven't really been keeping track of the stats because it's not done. I'm working on celebrating my my present moment and my victories more. It takes practice. You know, a lot of us get our results and we just pass right by it like it's nothing. So that's part of why I'm trying to stay present and not move to the future like I've been saying. It's nothing personal. It's just it takes practice. It's not easy because I like to keep going. I like to create results. To get to be at that to break records the way I'm doing, to keep doing what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm very grateful. I feel like there's a lot of luck mixed into it, but we make our own luck. You know, when people say good luck, I say luck is for losers. But at the same time, I'll take it because, you know, you need everything you can get in this sport. Look at these savages in my division. Look at everybody in this thing. Best in the world. These guys are the freakish athletes with a lot of humility. You can talk to any one of us. You try to talk to somebody who plays a game like football or basketball, you can't even look at them, or baseball. They won't even look at you half the time. I've done it. I've been there. So I just love these people. I love the sport. And I'm glad that I can be here and do what you said. I didn't know that. So thanks.
Congrats, man.
Hey, Dominick, congrats on the victory. Just got a question for you. At the post-fight, you made a little bit of a jab at Keith Peterson, congratulating referee Mark Goddard. Question for you is, in that first round, did any kind of flashback go back to the fight with Henry Cejudo? Do you have any kind of doubts or trepidations that they would stop the fight? And what was going through your mind?
Well, no, I had a conversation with Keith Peterson in the back before that fight. Hey, I'm willing to die in there. Do not stop this early. And when you stop a fight with 1 second left on the clock and I'm working my way up, I just made sure and talked to Goddard about that and said the same thing. He was looking me in the eyes the whole time. And you know what? I wasn't taking a stab at Keith Peterson. I was giving kudos to Goddard. Do you see how that happens with media? Like, that's always how it happens. It's like, who said I took a stab at Keith Peterson? You did. I didn't. So I'm not mad at you, but I'm saying that's how things get twisted up in this world. I was giving kudos to somebody, and it got twisted into me stabbing at Keith Peterson. That's not true. Me and Keith Peterson spoke one-on-one, eye to eye. And I took responsibility for putting myself in that position. He took responsibility for where his position is in that place. And you know what? Keith Peterson has shown up and done a great job in his fights. I've seen an adjustment. He's let some people go. I mean, I don't know if you've watched his last few fights, but he's let some people go that I was like, yes, please, I wish you would have done that for me. And we're all adjusting in this thing. We're none of us are perfect. I understand that. It pisses me off that happened. Because, you know, Cejudo retired, and I can't smash his face in on a rematch. But if the little dork decides to come back, I'm here.
Dominick, you just mentioned your foot a little bit earlier. How's just like your plantar fasciitis these days? I mean, you didn't have the tape on. Pedro did. They were mentioning it. But just how are the feet these days?
Well, I had to put some insoles in my feet. And anybody who's got plantar fasciitis tendonitis, it takes time. But if you get some expensive insoles, it really makes a difference. You know, $350 insoles, I put them in every pair of shoes I wear, and over time your feet heal. My feet are completely healed. I mean, I kicked a knee tonight, so my knee's a little sore. But, my foot's a little sore from kicking the knee. But that's normal. I mean, you can kick elbows and your foot's going to be sore. You can kick a head and break nothing's broken. It's just swollen and sore. So the feet are money. Feet feel good.
Oh, that's good to hear. And were you surprised by his takedown defense in this fight, Pedro?
I think with him, I wasn't surprised. He knew what I was going to be trying to mix it up. With that, it's not always about completing the takedown. If you think about it, the takedown attempts set up my striking. And so that allowed me to outstrike him in the end. And it got him kind of freezing a lot, I feel like. So I've said this in commentary, you know, you don't always have to finish these shots. You just got to keep staying active, keep staying on them, and then that pulls the hips back, which opens up uppercuts, hooks, things of that sort. If you don't respect my takedown and pull your hips back, then I'm going to take you down. But if you pull him back, now you've opened up striking. So it's a balance play, and that's what mixed martial arts is. And that's why I've always had weird angles and weird footwork and all this stuff, because we're not fighting like any other sport in the world. If I stay stationary, takedowns are there. If I don't hit angles, kicks are there, knees are there, all this different stuff. So for me, it's just important of being constant everything, constant guessing, constant feints, constant knees, constant kicks, angles, takedowns, boxing, jump knee, everything. It's important to be that, I think.
So with that in mind, were you maybe more surprised that he didn't let you take him down? Because he's a great grappler, great submission artist.
Yeah, no, I mean, Pedro Munhoz is an OG. Like, I'm not surprised that he didn't let me take him down. It's a pride thing. The dude's got pride. Nobody wants to be put on their butt. It takes a man to hold another man on his back, is what my wrestling coach said in junior high. And if you watch judo, if you watch jiu-jitsu, anything, I mean, some people are nasty guard players. Pedro Munhoz he's got a guard, but he's more of a top jiu-jitsu player, so he doesn't want to be on his back. He did a good job defending the takedowns. Kudos to him, but I'd expected nothing less. The guy's a beast. I mean, people should be talking more about his legacy, I believe, but what do I know?
And did you notice a difference, going from the Apex to, back to a normal show?
Yeah, definitely. Completely different. The fans make this, is the best thing I can say. The fans make this sport. It feels so different with fans. Like, it's a completely different sport with fans. Completely different. In the Apex, don't get me wrong, it's great think about this. The UFC has kept us working through the entire pandemic. Kudos to Dana White, kudos to UFC, IMG, WME, Hunter, Sean Shelby. Listen, they're not forcing things on us, if you know what I'm saying. We're all free to do what we need to do so we can keep working. We have all stayed employed through this entire thing. The UFC has gone up almost 50% in viewing. It is the fastest growing sport in the world. They're doing their job. They're not forcing anything on us. They pay us. Like, you want to talk about pay from us? We're all making money while half the nurses in the world are being laid off. It's tragic. Thank you, UFC. I will always have your back for this time. I will always remember what you've done for me and the rest of these fighters. It's pretty incredible if you really break it down and think about it.
And last one for me, Dom. I'm not looking too likely that we'll see any of these matchups, but if you could get one back, would you prefer Cody or Cejudo?
Oh, I'd definitely prefer to fight Cejudo again. I just that didn't do well with me with the way that I mean, like I said, 1 second on the clock. I needed more time to just get going. I didn't have, I don't want to make excuses. It was in a pandemic. Yeah, no training partner. I took that on short notice. He had a full camp for Aldo. I vied for that. I pushed for that fight. Aldo got shut out of the country because of the pandemic. He was supposed to have that fight, so they were training for 12 weeks, 10 weeks before that fight. I got like 5 weeks. I sparred, I think, 10 times before that fight after shoulder reconstructive surgery. Not an excuse, but I know I can show up better. How I showed up tonight, this version of me is with all the sparring rounds that I need, me training the way I know I can and the way I know I need to, and that's a different fight with him. Don't get me wrong. The guy's an Olympian. He knows how to fight. Still a little dork, though.
Congrats, Dom.
Dominic, you were adamant after the fight to make a point about that we need to stick together and not let them divide us. Can you illuminate on more of your thought on what you meant by that?
In this time, whatever's going on with who's leading this country, there's a group of 12, 15 people making all these decisions for the entire world right now in the United States, especially, and stay at home for Thanksgiving, don't bring your family, everybody's divided in their opinions. So what I'm trying to say is if you take a bucket of water and you dip it in the ocean and you separate it and you put it on land, that bucket of water is going to disintegrate. It's going to get mosquitoes. It's going to get stagnant. It's going to evaporate into the world. But the second that starts happening, no matter how dirty the water is, no matter how nasty it is, if you pour it back into the ocean, everything goes back to normal. It survives. It's so important that we come together and not separate. Separation is not going to heal us. Coming together, working together, and let's say you have different opinions. Be neutral about it. Nobody needs to be right or wrong is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't need to be judgment. It doesn't need to be right and wrong. It could be, let's be in possibility together instead of you're right and I'm right, or I'm right, Like, be in possibility that we both can be right. And now, you could sit on that end of the table, I'll sit on this end of the table, but we're in the house together. Let's all come together. It's so important because that's what we are as humans. We are all one. We're all connected. I can't stress that enough. And to me, that's what will save us all during this pandemic.
And about coming together, when you were walking in, you were talking to one of the coaches of Alpha Male, and which the rivalries, a big one in MMA. What is your relationship with Team Alpha Male nowadays?
Honestly, like I said, I've really changed my speed on things a lot with where I'm at through the injuries, winning the belt, losing the belt, winning the belt, losing the belt. It's like I couldn't be where I'm at without them, challenging me the way they did. I couldn't compete at the level I do without the wars I had with Alpha Male. I faced half their team. I mean, they paid for half my houses. You know what I mean? I'm so grateful for them. So I love those guys. I do. And Emmett, he's a beast. That dude just came after ACL surgery and got a win. I can tell you what he did is monumentally tough. And he beat a guy who's an active fighter, who's young, hungry. Ige's no joke. So respect to Ige, respect to Team Alpha Male for what they're doing. They're still in the game, still going. Look at Emmett. And yeah, nothing but love.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.